Throughout human history, people have always been fascinated by the unknown, the afterlife, the invisible world, and the possibility that spirits walk among us. But for every person who fears the supernatural, there's always been another who tries to reach out to it. And often they do so through objects. Across cultures and generations, there are certain items believed to act as bridges between the living and the dead, tools that can summon, invite, or even trap spiritual entities. Some are ancient relics with ceremonial power. Others are modern creations that became cursed through tragedy or obsession. These are the items that people believe can conjure spirits, what they are, where they come from, and why so many think they can open doors that should never be opened. The most famous of them all is the Ouija board. At first glance, it seems harmless, a flat wooden board with letters, numbers, and simple words like yes, no, and goodbye. A small heart-shaped pointer glides across its surface, supposedly guided by unseen hands. But the history of the Ouija board goes much deeper than a simple game. It first appeared in the late 1800s, during the rise of spiritualism, a movement that swept across America and Europe when families gathered around candlelit tables, hoping to contact the dead. The board became an instant success, a supposed doorway for communication with lost loved ones. But as time passed, darker stories began to circulate. People reported strange events after using it, whispers in the dark, footsteps in empty rooms, and even objects moving on their own. Some claim the board lied to them, pretending to be friendly spirits before revealing something far more sinister. Whether it's truly a portal to the spirit world or a product of subconscious movements, the Ouija board remains one of the most feared and misunderstood tools for contacting the other side. Mirrors, too, have long been believed to be more than simple reflections. In countless cultures, mirrors are thought to be gateways, thin barriers between our world and another. They don't just show your reflection, they show your soul. In ancient Greece, people practiced a form of divination called cataptromancy, gazing into mirrors or reflective water to communicate with the dead. In some Asian traditions, mirrors were used to ward off evil spirits by reflecting them away. But others warned that if a mirror could reflect a spirit, it could also trap one. That's why so many legends tell people to avoid staring into mirrors in the dark. The longer you look, the greater the chance you'll see something that shouldn't be there, a face that isn't yours or movement that doesn't belong. Even today, mirrors are used in paranormal rituals like scrying, where a person gazes into their reflection in low light, waiting for images or figures to appear. Science calls it an optical illusion known as the Troxler effect, but believers insist that mirrors are true windows, and sometimes, something on the other side decides to look back. Another chilling object believed to conjure spirits is the Dybbuk box. The word Dybbuk comes from Jewish folklore, describing a restless spirit that clings to the living. These entities are said to be souls of the wicked or the unfulfilled, trapped between life and death. In some stories, people created special boxes or containers to trap these spirits, sealing them with prayers and protective symbols. But curiosity has always been a dangerous thing. The modern legend of the Dybbuk box began in the early 2000s when a small wine cabinet was sold on eBay. The buyer claimed it brought nightmares, illness, and terrifying paranormal activity. Afterward, the story spread like wildfire, inspiring copycats and countless tales of cursed boxes around the world. Skeptics argue it's all coincidence or fabrication. But for believers, a Dybbuk box is a spiritual prison, and opening one means releasing whatever was bound inside. Then there are dolls. From Annabelle to Robert the Doll, the idea of toys inhabited by spirits is one of the oldest and most disturbing beliefs in paranormal lore. In many cultures, dolls were once seen as vessels, physical representations that could hold spiritual energy. Some were made to protect children or absorb negative forces. But when tragedy struck, when a child died young or a doll was abandoned, people believed a lost soul could attach itself to the object. Over time, these dolls began to move on their own. People claimed to hear whispers, laughter, and footsteps in the night. Faces would seem to shift. Eyes would follow them across the room. Today, hundreds of these supposed spirit dolls are locked away in private collections and museums, sealed in glass cases, and treated with the same reverence as dangerous artifacts. Some believe they hold the souls of the lonely. Others think they contain something pretending to be innocent. Either way, they serve as a chilling reminder that even the most harmless objects can become haunted when emotion and death intertwine. And sometimes, the objects we wear can hold energy just as powerful. Throughout history, people have worn charms and amulets for protection, rings, pendants, or talismans meant to ward off evil. But when those objects are surrounded by death, tragedy, or betrayal, they can become vessels of darkness instead. Take the Hope Diamond, for example, one of the most famous jewels in the world, rumored to bring misfortune to its owners. Or the artifacts recovered from ancient tombs, where curses were etched into the walls, warning that those who disturbed the dead would suffer the same fate. In spiritual circles, jewelry is often seen as a conduit for energy. Because these items are worn close to the body, they absorb emotion, love, fear, anger, grief. When those feelings are strong enough, they linger. And sometimes that lingering energy attracts something else, something unseen. So what makes these objects so powerful? Why do people believe they can call spirits from the other side? It may come down to one thing: intention. Every time someone sits in a dark room, lights a candle, and asks a question to the void, they are focusing their energy, their fear, and their desire. The object they use, whether it's a board, a mirror, or a doll, becomes a tool that channels that focus. It's not just about the physical thing. It's about what we project onto it. And maybe that's the real secret. Maybe these items don't summon spirits on their own. Maybe they amplify us. Our energy, our emotions, our will to believe. Because when enough fear and belief mix together, the line between what's real and what's imagined can blur completely. Perhaps that's why these stories never die. Whether it's the Ouija board, a haunted mirror, or a cursed ring, every culture, every time period, has its own version. Humans have always been drawn to the idea that the veil between worlds can be opened, that death is not the end, but a doorway waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to knock. But as every legend warns, once that door opens, there's no guarantee you'll be the one who closes it. If you enjoyed this exploration of items that can conjure spirits, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into paranormal history, cursed objects, and supernatural mysteries.